great about MMA. It's such a small world, as we've just been talking about. I mean, I'm sure you've seen so many fighters that just come up from Sport and where they're at now compared to where like 5 to 10 years ago.
Yeah, there's Christian Rodriguez. He's 3-0 with 3 first-round finishes, I believe.
Yeah.
Sport. He's fighting for the LFA, I believe, on Friday in South Dakota. So that's like,
damn. I wanted to get him on my show. Let's see if I can hit him up.
I've been saying for a while that I think he's going to be in the Contender Series maybe by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
there's some great talent in Rufus Sport that's untapped, untapped potential. Definitely. Yeah. He's probably going to be in the UFC soon. I mean, if you're an LFA, you have a good chance of making UFC.
Definitely.
Because, they've sent over 200 fighters combined. Like when there were 2 promotions, now they're combined.
Yeah.
Over 200 to 300 fighters to UFC.
There you go. It says it right there.
So LFA is definitely a big. And I still have not been to an LFA event. I know you didn't get to go to the last one, did you?
No. I went.
I was supposed to. I wanted to go, but I couldn't get off. Now I won't have that issue. Hopefully. But what else I was gonna say is I do like LFA. And now get a chance to watch them every Friday, so you can bet your ass I am going to be covering LFA more than ever before.
Oh yeah.
I used to like. Well, I would watch like the ones in Minnesota. I remember I took off one day and I got to see the Rufus Sport was there.
Oh yeah.
Nate Jennerman was in the main event. He lost for the title.
Oh okay.
Yeah, but they had a bunch of Rufus Sport guys, and that was like the last LFA I saw live, and then. Like, I would tune in to see, like, fighters, like, I interviewed, I tune in just to see, like, Macy Barber, because I heard she was getting up there, and then, what's the other girl I interviewed? Christina, I forget her last name. She's really, she has a weird last name, Dematopoulos, I'm sure.
Yeah, something like that.
Dematopoulos, she's a Greek chick, she's awesome.
Yeah.
She's actually goes by Christina Marie, but that's like her adult entertainer name. She's actually an exotic dancer, dude. Isn't that crazy?
Really, as a fighter, dang.
And she's undefeated as a fighter. I believe she's still undefeated. Yeah. And
wow.
So I know her as that name because it's easier than Christina Marina and Christina Demopoulos. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering it, but she's like, listen, she's pretty legit. She trains at that big camp over there in LA. The one with Machida's there.
Oh, King.
Is it King's MMA? I think it's another one.
That's with Rafael Cordero and those guys and Calvin Gastelum.
Right. She trains with a lot of great fighters, so that's really cool. And but like I said, I definitely can get more into LFA. Like I watched Austin's fight, obviously, because I was following him, so I saw him win the title fight. And like I said, with the Rufus Sport guys, but I really need to get more into the weekly LFA because there's so much great talent. I mean, you get to see them there, and then they're on Tuesday Night Contender Series, and then more often than not, they get signed to UFC. It's just like, this is crazy. Like, we have a way to draft fighters into UFC, like or in Bellator too.
Really the MLB draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should do a draft every year, but
if you win the LFA title, you're pretty much not guaranteed, but you have a big percentage of going to the UFC. Brendan Allen, I believe with him, when he won the title, is because he fought for the title, like, I think 3 times, then won it on the 3rd time. Then they made him defend the title. Then the UFC picked him up. So I think all the guys that went from Rufus Sport, I mean, it was the RFA before, like Sergio Pettis, Mike Rhodes, all those guys went to the UFC right away. Bilal Muhammad was in Titan FC. He went to the UFC right away. So, man, that's like it's a feeder league to the UFC. And now they're combined, so they can Dana and Sean and Mick and all of them can see all the great fighters that come out of that company.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's quality. The amount of fighters that come through there, and I'm excited to just get into LFA. I'm excited. They're on this Friday because I'm going to be watching live.
Nice.
UFC Fight Pass. And, we've also had some other stuff like Submission Underground, if you follow them. I watched the recap videos of that just because a lot of those matches are kind of monotonous and long if you're not used to super grappling. I'm not saying that there's a great audience for it, but I definitely do check out like the highlight videos so I can see like, all the submissions made, and usually someone's describing what's going on. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
But those events are awesome too. I mean, there is some MMA out there besides UFC. It's just UFC is pretty much the whole picture. I mean, that's the thing we have to get away from, is that people just say UFC, they think it's the actual sport. Not,
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get those
I was reminded that by a former UFC fighter, Pete Spratt, that was on my show. And, him along with Shoney Carter, and they were both talking about that. That's the thing, is people think UFC is the sport. They got to get away from that. And hopefully, people see these other promotions that will help. But I'm not sure when any of these regional fights are coming back. I mean, I told you HFC is planning in September, but I could see that falling apart if they can't have any people come in. If they can't have a live gate, they're not really going to run it, because I think that's pretty much the majority of their revenue.
Makes sense.
I mean, maybe you could allow people in masks, but they always have a pretty darn near sellout crowd. I mean, they usually have a pretty good crowd there, so it's hard to just social distance there, and everybody's going to want to be there at the Horseshoe. It's just it's one of those things. It's going to be really tough for them to have it if these it depends on what happens. Like I told you, I'd be wearing a mask, even if I've been cage side. I don't even know if they'd allow us to be cage side, because I don't even know where they'd sit us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not counting on that, but they do put us cage side. I'm definitely wearing a mask and gloves, because I don't want to get any of that DNA. Because when you watch those fights, what you don't realize is not just the blood that could splatter out. Like that's a cool effect and everything. I have one of the bout cards with a splatter of blood on it when I was at a fight, but it's also DNA that's being transferred, that's being mystified. It's going out in the air, sweat and spit, and that's why these fighters are tested. And I don't really see HFC testing all of us before we come to the event. I mean, I doubt they're even going to test the fighters, besides doing a temperature check, which doesn't really tell you much about the disease in itself. So it's going to be a hard, tough decision for them, any promotion, to run and to do it safely.
I agree, especially with fans.
Yeah, I mean, I know LFA has a contract with HFC Fight Pass. Maybe that will help them out, to keep running. There's a couple other promotions that I'm sure can do the same thing. But, yeah, without fans, it's going to be really tough. But let's just get into the UFC. All right, and the big news. Where were you when you found out Masvidal? I mean, this is July 4th, man, and you have to forgive me, because I was actually out in Indiana with some friends, and I had my phone off and didn't even realize till like a few hours after it happened that it is official. Like, I had an inkling, but I didn't know for sure. But now George Masvidal is in. Gilbert Burns is out. Gilbert Burns tested positive for COVID-19. That's unfortunate in itself. You know what I mean? I'm hoping he's okay. And, obviously the best to him and his cornerman, because, I know they self-quarantine themselves throughout the whole fight night process. So Gilbert Burns didn't even make it on the plane to Abu Dhabi, from what I gathered. And then Usman held back because he wasn't sure if he was going to have a fight. And then that night, 4th of July, Dana White's making plans. Hold the phone. He's not being a grill master anymore. He's riding that phone, and they're making a meeting with George Masvidal, sent them to Vegas, and somehow they reached this deal, which I think is a positive thing, because from what I gathered from Masvidal's side, he just wanted to be paid what he thought was justified. So what did you think about that whole of everything?
Definitely. Well, obviously, first of all, prayers to Gilbert Burns and his whole team.
Yeah.
Praying that they all heal up well and everything. But with the Jorge Masvidal, this fight was supposed to happen at this event too. I believe this is supposed. I think Dana was saying that. So for Jorge, for people don't think that he was training during this. He definitely was training, because you never know. He just wanted to get the right amount of money during this situation, and he got he said he got pretty close to what he wanted. So obviously, the more fights you win, the more money you're going to get paid. Especially being if he becomes world champion this Saturday, his check is going to be going up, and the zeros will be more on his bank account. So, but no, I think it's a great fight. I really wanted to see Gilbert Burns fight Usman. I think stylistically, that's a good matchup for both of them. But obviously, what the fans want to see, there's a backstory. There's an altercation at the Super Bowl press conference and stuff like that. People want to see People want to see that, and I'm excited to see the fight this Saturday. I think that this card is insane. 3 title fights, bunch of other great fights on the card. It's in Abu Dhabi, so I'm excited to see it. And I think that it's good if Jorge Masvidal can become world champion. I think he can be a really big star in this sport, more than he already is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, and I think that's a great fight for both guys. Obviously, Masvidal, he draws numbers. He's going to have huge numbers. This is going to lead to pay-per-view revenue, and I think that's probably what he wanted. He wanted a bigger cut of the pay-per-view revenue. He's going to get it. I thought I actually thought that they would already paid him a lot for the Diaz fight, but obviously he wanted more money, and I think this might be a trend that we're going to see is that the fighters are going to demand more money during during this whole time, and as tough it is to make that call when you put in that spot when your main event is about to get canceled. And don't get me wrong, you could still sell that fight on pay-per-view. It wouldn't make as many pay-per-view numbers, but you still had 2 competitive title fights. Jan Aldo and Volkanovski Holloway, which I believe Holloway Volkanovski would have been the main event. But somebody told me that when I heard that news, George Masvidal would be stepping in. They made the deal. I'm excited for the fight because Masvidal brings an aura of confidence that is yet to be seen in octagon. Like the way he's done it is beautiful. Like to me, he's more confident than Conor McGregor, man. I swear. I just feel like his confidence is building each fight. Dominant win over Diaz. It seems like he could be the guy to hold that title for a long time. But then Kamaru Usman, you look at Usman, and I counted him out against Woodley personally. And then since then, I've had Usman winning. I can't go against Usman. And Usman's just been there's no way around it. Like he takes people down. And that's where I don't know if Masvidal's got that wrestling to keep that fight standing. I wonder if Usman's gonna target him with the wrestling, take him down, wear him out, and the most Masvidal's no slouch on the ground. I'm just saying that the way Usman beat everybody leading up to that fight with Woodley, and then he did the same thing to Tyron Woodley,
Exactly.
It's just so hard to go against him, but I'm looking forward to a good fight. If prediction wise, it's hard to say. It just depends if Usman gets his game going on early and keeps it going. I think Masvidal, the longer this fight is, the worse it is for Masvidal. I think Masvidal wants to end this fight with a nice, clean knockout. Either a head kick or a solid punch. Masvidal is powerful, and he's dropped many good guys. Besides Ben Askren, you look at the people he's dropped. Nate Diaz, he's dropped a bunch of guys leading up to this. Darren Till, right? Darren Till, he knocked Darren Till out.
Yeah.
He's just got the touch, man, and that's what I'm saying. Is you got the guy who has the touch, and you got Usman who's just impenetrable. It's a tough one to call. For me, it's hard to pick a prediction, but if I had to, I would go with Usman.
Yeah, it's a stylistic matchup thing, and of course, but Kamaru showed in his last fight he can strike too. Even in the Woodley showed he can strike even more. So and Jorge Masvidal, in my opinion, probably has the best boxing in the welterweight division.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. So, I would say, yeah. Obviously Colby and Usman, what they did was really impressive, but yeah, they don't come close to Masvidal at all.
Just the precision and the cleanness of Jorge's punches and the way he sets combos up, I think could give Usman problems. So I think he's definitely going to look for the clinch and look for the takedowns, of course, and try keeping it on the ground. But Jorge Masvidal's takedown defense has gotten a lot better, especially training with Yoel Romero, ATT. So but the thing is, as you saw Damian Maia was able to do with Jorge Masvidal, I personally thought Jorge Masvidal beat Damian Maia, but again, it's takedowns. That's how MMA scoring and judging is. If you get takedowns in a round, that's pretty much you're solidifying yourself for winning that round. So if he can stuff a takedown, keep it on the feet, I would give the advantage to Jorge Masvidal. But if it goes on the ground, I think that Kamaru Usman's top pressure and his jiu-jitsu skills are going to be able to get him the win there. But the toss-up, it's another toss-up. But I keep thinking I'm going to go, dang, I don't want to. I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to pick this fight until the end.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick it yet because
that's fine.
I don't know. It's one of those toss-up fights that stylistically, whoever can impose their game plan first is going to become the victor. I just personally maybe think that just the guys that Usman's fought compared to the guys Masvidal's fought, especially his last few fights, may give a difference. And obviously the grappling department, I think, is in his favor. But I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Masvidal as a new champion either.
No, you know what? Anything is possible. And Jorge Masvidal is able to silence critics. You know, obviously, you know, everything he did from Nate Diaz, people didn't even think he belonged in that fight, you know. Obviously, Darren Till, I think that was the turning point, you know. When he got that knockout, I mean, that was. And then, of course, you know, Ben Askren, you know. What he did to Ben Askren. And I feel like that's, you know, that's possible. Anytime he goes out there, that's the excitement, is that he could just end this with a flurry of strikes, you know.
He's a finisher.
He is.
Looking to finish guys. Earlier in his UFC career, it was more so him getting decisions, getting robbed of split decisions and everything like that. And he found the switch. He turned it on and is able to knock guys out. And the fans love knockouts. And Dana White loves knockouts. So, and he wants to sign that check with extra few zeros. So if you can get some impressive finishes in the UFC, you can become a big star, even if you don't become a world champion.
I agree. And I think that he has that legacy, you know. Even if he doesn't win the belt, he is a major force. You know what I mean? Obviously a future Hall of Famer. And I don't think his legacy is one, not winning the belt will not target his legacy, because I feel like, I don't know how many fights he has left in his career, but obviously if he won the belt, that would be just huge, you know. But I'm just saying he doesn't need to win the belt to still be a main player. You know, I think you know, some guys just get hot at the right moment. This is Masvidal. He's gone hot at the right time. You know, we don't have those megastars in UFC anymore. And you know, people mention Conor McGregor, but he's not fighting.
Yeah.
You know, he has 1 foot in and 1 foot out, as we all know. We don't have those committed megastars. We don't have a Ronda Rousey anymore. You know, we don't have Anderson Silva, who I think, you know, obviously the American audience, he got past his language barrier and really, we had people becoming huge fans of him. But we're missing from these stars that either are the long gone past. So we need more of these megastars, and Masvidal is right there with the win over Nate Diaz, who's a megastar himself. I thought that this fight between Masvidal and Diaz, the rematch, would somehow happen before this one. Just because, you know, that's what it looked like talks were going towards. It seemed like Masvidal wasn't interested in fighting Usman, and then Usman was going after someone else. I remember, I think Usman called
Conor. Usman wanted Conor.
He called out Conor, right. So it just seemed like they were flux, but now here they are, and these two talk a lot of trash. It's going to be we don't have that epic build-up. That's the only thing I'm worried about. We don't have that epic build-up, but I'm still excited for this one. I mean, I was excited for the Gilbert Burns fight. I'm just even more excited for this card, and it's going to be a huge night. I can't wait for July 11th.
Yeah. I agree. This is going to be one of the biggest fight cards of the year, and especially with the 3 title fights.
Yes.
Vacant belt at 135, and then the 2 other titles that are on the line. It's a beautiful, beautiful event, and especially way to do it on a fight island. You know what I mean? It's a cool vibe to it. So, I
would love to be on that fight island.
Oh, that'd be insane. That's for sure.
I mean, we live in cities that are now run by violence, and
there you
increasing violence is kind of depressing. We have COVID-19. I mean, what better way to get away for a weekend? or a couple weeks at Fight Island.
Go to Fight Island. Wouldn't that be cool, huh?
I know, man. If
That would
only.
be
So yeah, definitely. Well, we'll hear if you change your mind or if you have a prediction towards the end of this. But let's go to the co-main event. Or let's start from the big bottom up, since we just covered that. And so, and the main card is Ribas and Van Zandt. For a little bit, people that don't know about Ribas, she's been doing really well. You know, she's actually gotten some big wins in her career. I think she beat Mackenzie Dern, and that was a huge win for her. Probably her biggest to date. You know, and she's looked good. I mean, she kind of came out, and not really when she first started. You were kind of wondering, did she have what it takes to go all the way in the UFC? But then, you know, she's now 9-1. I believe she only has one loss, and that was in the UFC, and I forget who that was too. But you know, I try to stay up on all the women's fights. But yeah, Ribas is definitely a game opponent for Paige Van Zandt. For Paige, I think she knows this is the last fight on her contract. It looks like she's angling for more money for a new contract. She'll be a free agent after this fight. So she's betting on herself. What do you think of that move? I think it's a good move by her because she admitted during Hawani's show recently she gets paid more money to do advertising on Instagram than she does for her fights.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that fighters want to get paid more, and I mean they should. A lot of fighters should get paid more, especially if you bring in the numbers. You have these fans that pay for these tickets. Definitely, they should be getting paid more. Right. It just depends on. I mean, what's Paige's record again? Is her record on?
Yeah, her record. I just have it on here. It's 8-4.
Okay, but she's beat like Kylan Curran and those people. I mean,
she's had some notable wins. I mean, when you look back at her, I'll pull it up real quick. When you look at her record, you know she's got wins over Rachel Ostovich, Beck Rawlings, and Alex Chambers. Those are her last 3 victories.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they're like spaced apart by years. So her before Rachel Ostovich, her last win was in 2016, August. That's almost 4 years ago to Beck Rawlings. And she dropped 2 in a row. And then, but before that, the whole year of 2017, she did not fight at all.
Oh, I think with her arm, right?
Yeah, her arm surgery, right. And she had to go, and then she came back with Rachel Ostovich, and she had another arm. Her arm, re-injured herself. Then she finally had another 3rd surgery, which happened this year. I don't think it was a surgery, but it wasn't 100%. Like it was still not working correctly. But yeah. I don't think she didn't need a 3rd surgery. But yeah, so you see, she's been a lot of inactivity on the part of Paige Van Zandt. And you know, like I said, I would say her biggest win to date would probably have been Felice Herrig. That's just my opinion. I mean, they're all arguable. Alex Chambers was another veteran of the sport. But, you know, Rachel Ostovich, who was a subpar, below 500 fighter now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say that's like a great victory. You know, we have to admit that these were 2 attractive-looking women, and it was an appealing fight to put them on ESPN. And, you know, and that was their first card on ESPN. You know, they wanted to sell them their looks more than their you know, as much as they wanted to sell their physical attributes, they wanted to sell their looks. So, and we go to the other girl, Ribas, and I really like how she's put everything together, 9-1, and that's why I have her winning this fight. Amanda Marcos, Mackenzie Dern, Emily Whitmire, and Jennifer Gonzalez actually that was before UFC. So yeah, so in the UFC, she's had some good wins, you know. Undefeated in the UFC, by the way. She's 3-0 in UFC.
Yeah, so she seems tough. I mean, Ronda Marcos and Mackenzie Dern, beating those women, that's great for her career. And you look, like her husband's in Bellator now, and Bellator definitely would offer her a big amount to come over there. I guarantee it.
I agree.
Or at least like more than what she's getting paid in UFC. But you know, if she wanted to test free agency to see if she can get paid more, then props to her, you know. And if she can get that better contract, I mean, you might see her over there in Bellator with, I mean, her husband. I mean, it'd be a wife-husband duo over there, you know. And Bellator would love that. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough with that kind of a situation. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw the move to Bellator. But I would prefer to her maybe stay in the UFC. So
yeah. I mean, Bellator does have the 125-pound division, so she'd be at home there.
Yeah,
I don't see her winning this fight. I'm going with Ribas on decision. How about you?
I'm gonna go Ribas too.
Yeah. Just that she seems to be on a roll.
From the names, says she's beat Mackenzie, Randa Marcos.
Yes.
Two tough women.
I know.
Especially Mackenzie's jiu-jitsu. So let's see if she can be a next big star there. So.
And then we have another great women's fight. This one in the 115-pound division, and it's a rematch. Jessica Andrade, Rose Namajunas from their fight back in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was for the women's strawweight title, which Andrade won before she lost to Zhang Weili. And this division is my favorite division out of all the women's divisions. I mean, who can argue with that fight with Joanna and Zhang Weili? Zhang Weili and Joanna. That's probably the greatest women's fight of all time.
100%. Yeah,
So,
that fight was insane.
yeah, it was. And then, like ever since Rose won it, I just gravitated towards this division. I really I loved it. I think Joanna was a great champion as well. This fight is tough. I mean, Rose has a lot on her mind. I think she had some family members that died, a couple of them that died due to COVID-19. And that's why she had to pull out this fight originally, which was scheduled for May 9th. Now that it's here, I do like this fight for Rose. But I'll admit, I'm a bit biased. I love Rose Namajunas. She's probably one of my favorite female fighters. You know what I mean? It's hard not to be biased in this one.
On the 414.
Exactly.
I throw up the 414 because that's where I'm at. So
yeah, exactly, man. And yeah, she is, what she did. She's like the female Justin Gaethje. Like we get to see the work that that's put into her by the same head coach. You know what I mean? And what she did against Joanna Jędrzejczyk was amazing. And Trevor Whitman is of course the mastermind behind Rose Namajunas. She's trained at Elevation Fight Team, I believe, part-time, and she trains, with Pat Barry. She trains at a couple different places. I really think she's one of the fighters that's going to come back, and she's going to win the title back one day. I really do. I really believe that she has what it takes to climb her way back to the top. It comes with a tough opponent, Andrade, the woman that TKO'd her, back in 2019. It's not going to be an easy task, and when you go back and watch the first fight, Rose was doing pretty well on the feet against Jessica Andrade, who seems like a bulldozer at times. So many women have trouble getting in on her, and even Joanna Jędrzejczyk admitted that she was tough. Even though she was able to go dominate her pretty much in a decision, that you had to be careful with Jessica Andrade. So all the women that have faced her know her power, that felt her wrath. I just think Rose Namajunas is going to approach this smarter. I think she's not going to let Jessica Andrade get close to her. I think she's going to pick her apart.
Yeah,
but I could be wrong.
I could see the same. I could see that, especially with Jessica Andrade. I mean, she's a machine.
She is.
Come forward, has good boxing, has a lot of power. A girl like Rose has great jiu-jitsu, is able to pick girls apart on the feet, and has knockout power too. She's more precise and clean with her punches. So I'm just saying that Rose can be able to pick her apart with a jab on the feet, and I think she can win a decision here against Jessica Andrade.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
She for the title then after.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good path to victory for her. I just think that she's gonna go in there, and Andrade is gonna be really tough. But I just feel Rose Namajunas, I feel she has the confidence now to kind of try some new things out. She's obviously had a lot of time off to think since that last fight. I mean, Jessica Andrade was the last opponent, so that's the only person that she's been preparing for is Jessica Andrade. I think she knows her pretty well by now. I think she's going to try to not let her get close. I would say decision, and you never know. We could see a crazy finish like we did against Joanna when she knocked out Joanna. I mean, she's got the power to do it,
Yeah, she's got to stay away from the clinch. I mean, I think she did well against Angela Hill in the clinch. Yeah. Angela Hill has great Muay Thai. But I think if she can stay away from the clinch just because of what happened last time, and be able to circle off the cage, especially she's going to want to press up against the cage, Jessica is. if she's able to do those things, I think she can come out with the victor. And I think by decision, she's going to be able to pick Jessica Andrade apart on the feet, and we're going to see her as number one contender. So it's really a number one contender fight.
I do think so as well. They both don't want to be forgotten about, just because Weili Zhang came in and, has put on a couple of dominant performances. There's still a great division behind her. And, she obviously going to need an opponent coming up real soon when they can book her, because she's one of the most anticipated fighters stepping in that cage is Zhang Weili. I'm as half being, half Chinese, I'm actually proud of her, man, you did it, girl.
She can become a huge star.
Yes.
100%. She can become a big star. The way she fights, her fighting style, personality, she can become a big star in this sport.
I agree. Yeah.
So
I think it was just scratched the surface of Weili Zhang.
Definitely.
But she has nothing but tough people ahead of her when she gets her next fight. So the next fight on this one we're going to talk about is Jan and Aldo. And Petr Yan is a guy that does everything well. I don't think there's any weakness in his game. Like, he literally has dominant wrestling. He's got, incredible striking, and he's got just the wherewithal just to stay ahead. Never. I don't think this guy's lost a round ever. I'd be mistaken if maybe he did, but I don't think he's even lost a round in his fights. I mean, he's 14-1, but technically in the UFC, he's undefeated.
Let me just say, he's another one of the Russian fighters. I'm half Russian, so seeing another guy like that who is good on the feet and has great grappling, it's another force. It's like a Khabib of the 135 division.
Yeah.
And he's a different fighter, obviously. He switches stances well. His takedowns are incredible. He's got great takedowns. And his forward pressure really gives guys a lot of problems. So I think that Petr Yan, he's got a tough fight in front of him. People write off Jose Aldo. I understand. People thought, why is he getting the title shot? He lost to Marlon Moraes. A lot of people thought he beat Marlon Moraes, including Dana, the president. I thought he won the fight too, like just barely. I thought it was 2-1.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of that fight, when Marlon Moraes hit him with that switch kick to the head, I was like, please. And I was like, whoa. I was like, okay. Aldo learned as a true champion. He adapted to the situation. Was able to, obviously didn't get the win, but was able to put on a great performance regardless of losing. And look, he's again in another world title fight, and if he wins, he is another double champion. So that's history right there. And Jose Aldo, if he wins the title, is easily one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. There's no question about it. His 10-year reign of dominance in the WEC, the UFC. Defending the title 7 times in the UFC. You can't say anything bad about Jose Aldo. But Petr Yan is just, I think the best guy he's fought is Uriah Faber or Jimmy Rivera. So Jose Aldo's fought Uriah Faber, Conor McGregor. He's fought Max Holloway. The experience, but again, it's the weight cut. We'll see how the weight affects Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo's for sure, I think, going to have the better boxing. He's going to be much faster on the feet. He's going to be able to – Aldo has a really crisp right hand and a nice jab. And maybe we'll see him go back to his signature low kicks here at 135 pounds. Obviously throwing low kicks gets you tired in fights. That's probably why we haven't been seeing it as of recent due to that factor. But I can see Jose Aldo doing well in this fight. It's, again, one of those fights you're just another toss-up fight. And, I love Jose Aldo. I've liked him for years. Petr Yan is just, I don't know. What do you think about? Who do you have in that fight?
Well, when I go in and I see like the way Petr Yan he goes in these fights, man, he just never seems behind. He just seems dominant every round. And you look at the fight against Jim Rivera, man. You're like, man, Rivera doesn't even belong in the cage with this guy.
Jimmy Rivera is like 21-1.
Right, exactly. That's amazing.
You know what I mean? And I think he beat John Dodson, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think he beat John Dodson too.
Yes, he did. Petr Yan beat John Dodson, yeah.
Okay. What about Jimmy Rivera? Did Jimmy Rivera beat John Dodson? I thought he fought him too.
Yeah, I think he did. I have to go back and look at that one. But yeah, Jimmy Rivera is a great veteran of the sport, but the way that Jan approached him, didn't give him any chance, no breathing room at all. I mean, it was gasping for air, in my opinion, during some parts of the fight. I'm not saying he was gassed like he was tired. He was just desperate, for something to go his way, and it didn't. And it just, he's had the more dominant performances than Jose Aldo has.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, in more recent history. Not saying Aldo has never had dominant. He's done that before. But yeah, I was looking, and yes, he did beat John Dodson, did Rivera.
That's what I
He
thought.
beat by unanimous decision back in September of 2018.
Yeah, so but people can't write off Jose Aldo. You got to remember, 2-time UFC featherweight champion.
Yes.
He beat some of the best guys. Beat Chad Mendes twice. I mean, he's fought Max Holloway, and he lost twice to Max Holloway. But Max Holloway is possibly the best featherweight of all time. He's beaten Ricardo Lames, all those guys. So you think about it, and you're like, okay. You can't write off Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo is still one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. But I've heard it's tough. It's tough because you have this new blood coming in, a new guy coming on in, and
yes,
the experience could definitely give him problems against Aldo. But Petr Yan's grappling and the way he can mix things up, he's probably one of the best in that division, if not the best. And we'll find out this Saturday at UFC 251.
Yeah, I mean, it's a toss-up for me, too. If I have to go to one, I'm just going with Yan because he's younger.
I'll go with Yan just because he's Russian.
Yeah.
Russian,
well,
too.
Everything he does is just, it's just progressive. Like, he doesn't do anything that you would say, oh, well.
It's beautiful.
Mistake. He doesn't make mistakes.
It's a work of art. Yeah, it's a work of art.
It's just every fight, and then the big kick to Faber, man, and then he has Faber thinking of retiring now,
I mean, the thing is, he improves every fight is the thing. And
yes,
when you evolve in this game, Jose Aldo has evolved so much. He got to this level that he's so good that it's hard to get over that hill because you're already so good. You're sharpening up your tools. But what new things are you learning? I know he was trying to, obviously box and stuff like that too.
Right.
All the guys had good hands, but going back to the basics of him and Muay Thai, what got him to the dance is the low kicks, body kicks, front kicks. Him learning the Muay Thai, or him doing Muay Thai, and a lot of his fights really got him through a lot of those fights and got a lot of finishes. So
I'd like to see him. Yeah.
If Aldo can really Muay Thai Petr Yan, that could be a big problem. Like in the clinch, with elbows, knees, or even just from the low kicks and the jab from the outside, could definitely give Petr Yan problems.
Yeah, I'd like to see him approach this fight like he approached Aldo in their second fight. Aldo approached Holloway in the second fight.
Yeah,
I like to see Aldo come out like he did against Holloway in his second fight with him. He was really aggressive. He was going back to the classic Muay Thai. And let's hope it just makes it more exciting fight. And then we get, of course, to the co-main event, Volkanovski, Holloway. That's a tough one, man. I went back and I watched that fight, and Volkanovski just seems like he invincible at times against Holloway. Yeah. Like literally those leg kicks he was doing, and Holloway was eating up right away. That slowed him down. Holloway just wasn't able to get off on him. I'm not sure what was wrong with the timing. I just think Volkanovski is a tough guy. He's just a tough guy to read. You know what I'm saying? He just the way he places certain things. I don't know how to wrap my head around it, but Volkanovski really is this guy that just has like unbeatable cardio and just like a tremendous skill set to win. Like, everything he does, he throws with bad intentions. He lands a lot of punches. Like he landed a lot of punches against Max Holloway in that fight. It's just he's precise, and I just feel like he's probably one of the toughest guys ever in this division, ever.
Definitely. I mean, if you look at
Holloway.
If you look at look at the fight. Max Holloway's got a wide stance, and all his fights, Max has a wide stance, so it's harder for him to check kicks that way. Not even so like him shortening up his stance at all, but him checking some of the kicks obviously is going to be a huge difference too. He threw a few low kicks against him too, and I was like, man, keep going back. I was like, go back, because like a Muay Thai guy like that, short, stocky, you can keep him at range with your kicks. I think if he kicks more against Volkanovski, that reach factor is going to be a huge problem for Volkanovski, especially coming inside. Especially if Max Holloway can counter him and step off and crack him with the right hand or do double up on the jab and like keep him away with kicks. I think he's going to give him problems that way. But the way Volkanovski shined in that fight, it really proved that he is, without a doubt, one of the best featherweights in the world. Right now he's the best. It just showed in that fight against Max Holloway. Him training at Tiger Muay Thai, I believe he's training there. Or no, that was Fyodor. No, that's him. That was him training at Tiger Muay Thai. Excuse me. It's like, man, I just watched all this stuff. See, I've seen so much of him, I just forgot. But him train Muay Thai like that, his low kicks are nasty. He's got big legs too, so taking a bat to the leg like that, come on.
Yeah, he's built like a tank.
Yeah, I guess he was 240 pounds like a rugby player before this.
Wow.
So imagine that, a 240-pound Alexander Volkanovski. So,
that's scary.
Perspective, you're looking at that, you're like, wow, okay. But he shined in that fight. He really did. He beat Aldo, he's beat Mendes, he beat Holloway. Those are three legends of the sport. And if he can beat Max Holloway for the second time, if he can put Max Holloway away, that just shows he's the best right now, 100%. There's no doubt. But you have Zabit in line right now for a title shot, and people want to see if he can go more than 3 rounds. You know what I mean?
You got a few guys out there. You got Katter and Ige. They're going to be fighting on Wednesday, I believe. On Wednesday. So you got them to worry about. You also got Ortega and Zombie when that fight finally happens. They could slot right in there perfectly as number 1 contender. So this division is stacked. And for Holloway, I don't know what he's got to do differently this time to win. I would just say he has to, get it started early and often. He has to, be in this guy's face. He's got, he's a tall dude. Like, he's a tall, lanky dude. He should be tough. Not only should he be tougher to take down, he should work in some wrestling, man. If I were him, I would train more wrestling against Volkanovski.
Or clinch with them.
Right, clinch. That's
long. He's got to be able to. He's got to kick more against Volkanovski. Yeah. Either if it's to the body or the head, or even he can go low. I acted like I said all. I said all 3. But the thing is with Max is he's so long. He throws a lot of punches. If he ends it with either a body kick or a high kick, that's going to back Volkanovski up against the cage, and he's going to be able to have that ring control. The octagon control, which shows he's winning the round, and he performs better in the center of the octagon rather than getting pushed up against the fence like he did against Dustin Poirier a little bit and stuff like that too. But he does his best work when he's pressing guys with a lot of high volume. And if he adds kicks too, he folded a lot of guys with his punches that he didn't have to kick much. He folded guys like he beat Aldo, Pettis, a lot of those, Ortega too, with his hands. And he did kick Ortega too. He went a high kick on Ortega, which I think rocked him too. But again, if he can keep him at bay with kicks and is able to stay long with his punches to control the distance with his kicks, I think he can become the world champion again. And I would like to see him go up. I would like Max Holloway to go to 155 pounds. I think his time at 145, I think that if he wins the title, he should definitely go up and fight the winner of Khabib and Gaethje.
Yes.
I think that would be a good fight, especially that he was scheduled to fight Khabib. I just think that Max is 28 now. I think that he's big for the weight class. If he can win this fight, I'd like to see him go up to 155 pounds and have even more challenges at 155 pounds waiting for him. So I'm going to go with Max Blessed Holloway.
Really?
Okay. I'm going to say he's going to win by decision. So I'm going to go with Max Holloway by decision. So that's who I'm going with. I have Blessed tattooed on me. That's not why. That's not why. But
I know.
So that's not why. But I'm going to go with Max Holloway by decision. And we might see a trilogy. That's
the thing, yeah.
They had never, I don't think, had a trilogy, or they haven't had it in a long time. So there you go. There's your trilogy if Max Holloway wins this weekend.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If Holloway were to win this fight, you said go up to 155. However, the last time he did that wasn't the result he wanted with Dustin Poirier, and that might have, that might be in his head. You know what I'm saying? That
I mean, it's a close fight it's a close fight because the thing is, he did outland. It said that he landed more strikes, significant strikes, but obviously the power of Dustin Poirier was really the big factor in that fight, and when he was able to put on the back foot. But Max did hurt Poirier too. I think it was the third round, fourth round. He had him up against the cage, had Poirier up against the cage, and was hurting him a lot too. So
that's true.
Can't really say that he doesn't have power. But the thing is, if he's lacking the power at 155, he puts the correct size and weight on, and is able to do that, especially with the volume he had, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and is able to come with so many combinations. It's awesome to see that, and I think him fighting at 155, that length he has, again, tall lengthy guy at 155, I think he can compete in the top 5 for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, and he has to win this fight to do that.
This fight's big for his legacy, 100%. This is a big fight. This will solidify. He wins the best featherweight probably of all time, arguably Conor McGregor. But we can argue that all day long. You know what I mean? A lot of people sit here and argue about it. But if Max Holloway can win the title back, if they don't make the trilogy, he should just go up right away, go up to 155. And if he wants to fight the winner of Khabib and Gaethje, I bet he'll get it. That's
true. Hey, it's good to be. That'd be a good position for him. I think it's a must-win for him as well. And I have to go with Alexander Volkanovski. However, I just see a kind of a repeat performance. I just like the way that he was able to get at Holloway from the beginning to the end, and I don't think it's going to be different this time around. Might be more competitive. Holloway might just go after it from the beginning, but just Volkanovski's gas tank, and what he was able to do to Holloway the first time with the clinch, the leg kicks. I mean, he had a successful game plan, and I don't think he's going to divert from it too much. And I think he's still going to be able to get success. I think he's going to go to decision again. I don't see him finishing Holloway, but anything is possible. And listen, Holloway could come back and finish him, but I'm going to go with Volkanovski on this one. I still think there's the doors open for Holloway to go up to 155 with a loss as well. So I won't count him out doing that. But I don't see him beating Volkanovski. I mean, just the way that Volkanovski beat him. It's a frustrating way to lose.
He beat him at his own game, essentially.
Yes, exactly. And I just don't see him. But you never know. We'll see what Holloway has learned since then. For my problem with Holloway is I wish Holloway would go outside of Hawaii. I wish he would go to bigger camps and train. Obviously now with the pandemic, it's not possible. But
I don't disagree with that, but the thing is, those guys got him to the training partners he has and stuff like that kind of got him to the dance, essentially. But, I mean, training with his team, he's got Yancy Medeiros and those guys over there. Him going up, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing Max Holloway. That's another face at 155 that is a perennial contender, a former world champion, maybe world champion again this weekend. It shows if he can win this fight and go up and win, that he's definitely one of the best fighters of all time because of that alone. But Max Holloway going to other camps, I mean, him going to AK, he's 28 now. I mean, what else is he really going to, per se, learn as much, especially with his style as it is already? You know what? Honestly, I wouldn't mind. One of the exceptions is I would like maybe to see him work with Duke Roufus.
Yeah. That could possibly happen.
Scott Cushman over at Rufus Sport, especially that would play into his game a lot. Long, lengthy, keep guys at bay with kicks and punches, and able to submit guys too. I mean, there you go. Maybe.
If he could train during the summer, as he doesn't like the cold. Max don't like the cold.
Oh yeah, but he loves Canada though. That's where he won the title, the interim title.
True, but he hates the cold. So
yeah.
He always complain about they put him on ice.
Tundra of Wisconsin, baby. Hey,
anything's possible, and then Duke is just a great, obviously a mind, to have him with. And maybe that's all he needs. He doesn't need completely different partners, a completely different camp. Maybe he just needs one or two additions, and that would be a recipe for success. But we'll see what happens after this one. He might prove me wrong and say, hey, I was able to do it with my camp. I'm just going Volkanovski because kind of playing devil's advocate, kind of like looking, for him to be the winner, because I feel like that last fight just showed that he was a better fighter.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And then before we close out, do you still have a prediction for Usman, Masvidal, or if you had to pick one, gun against your head?
I don't know. It's so hard to pick. Honestly, this is hard to pick.
Yeah.
Sheesh. I mean, it's really depending what shape Masvidal's in. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in shape, of course. Kamaru Usman's pressure is just. I think Masvidal will have good moments in the fight. It's just tough with that pressure and that grappling that he did against Woodley and that he's done in the past, especially against Colby too. Is able to go 5 rounds, all right, and knock him out in the 5th round.
I know,
man. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with Jorge Masvidal. Actually,
you are.
I think I'm gonna go with Masvidal. I think he can get a finish, possibly.
Like what round would you say?
Like second.
Second round.
Second.
That's possible. He's gonna have to really go after him, though. I mean, Usman
is have to throw a lot of punches and be able to stuff takedowns and be able to keep himself off the cage. If he can do that, I think it stifles Usman, gives him some problems. But again, it's a toss up. My prediction could change within the hours. So it's
Usman's
Usman's
got a rhinoceros jaw, man.
That guy can take some shots.
I know. That's why I can't go with Masvidal. Just seeing how much damage he's taken, with the Kobe fight, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
I like Kamaru Usman, though. I really do like his style.
Me too.
He can become a big star, too, if he has a win over Jorge Masvidal. So I keep thinking in my head it's going to be Masvidal, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's Usman.
Yeah, Usman's undefeated in UFC overall. So
yeah,
he has only one loss. And
he beat Woodley. He's beat a ton of good guys.
I really like his camp. With Henry Hooft, obviously.
Savage.
Yeah, and he's reaped the benefits of that. He was getting ready to fight his teammate, Burns.
Yeah, Gilbert Burns.
And so Henry Hooft was not going to be a part of the camp. So that means Henry Hooft is not going to be in the corner of Usman for this fight.
Yeah.
Because Henry Hooft said he was going to sit out between, and I don't think Henry Hoof's all going to say in a couple of days, oh, I'm going to go out there. I mean, he might.
Yeah.
I doubt it at this point that he made it out to Vegas, because he said he was sitting out because Usman already has his corner prepared for his fight. They're not going to change that out. And Burns had his corner for this fight.
Yeah.
Comprised of his teams. And then we also know that Usman trained in Colorado, too.
Yeah,
I think Elevation Fight Team.
Yeah, but I forgot who he was training with. Gaethje, and then he was training with what's that coach's name? I forgot. Trains Rose and Gaethje.
Trevor Whitman.
Trevor Whitman.
Yes, he was working with Whitman, so he has Whitman in his corner for his fight.
So deal with that.
That's a recipe for success.
That. Wow, that's
obviously. And then obviously, that Masvidal's going to have Mike Brown in his corner, who's another great genius of the game.
Definitely.
So
it's striking coach too. I'm actually making a Jorge Masvidal highlight video as we speak. I have it. I was working on it before, so that'll probably be out maybe tomorrow. But he's trying his mitt work is nice too. I mean, I forgot the coach's name, but he's a great striking coach too. So the test that we've seen some of the finishes in his fight. So we'll see here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting fight. I mean, when you bring these two together, it's just gonna be fireworks, man. We're getting out fireworks again. We're having fireworks leading up to this fight.
Yeah,
that's where the real fireworks are gonna happen. I don't know if you've heard, but we're hearing fireworks nonstop.
Yeah, it's kind of stopped over in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it stopped tonight, but yeah, it's just crazy. But we're living crazy times. And listen, but we're just so fortunate And that's why I always, thank everybody that I interviewed that's in the UFC or as a coach. Hey, thank you guys for, going out there and doing your job and during this time.
Yeah, 100%.
I appreciate it because it's entertainment for us, during these tough times. And I'm excited for these fights. And also I wanted to get your thoughts on was that Poirier Hooker fight. Oh my God, that was so amazing fight, man. That was probably fight of the year so far.
Of it. I was out fishing. I was telling you off camera. I was out fishing that day for hours and stuff like that. Hang out with some friends, and Dustin Poirier just put himself in line again for a title shot. It seems like.
I know. Great fight for him.
Tough. It's tough. Where do you put him? I mean, who else is there? I mean, he could fight Tony Ferguson. Now that would be a good fight.
I think that's a logical fight. Yeah.
But Conor McGregor's there. But I think Conor McGregor. I mean, he's retired. I don't know.
If anything happens with Khabib and Gaethje, he can go right in there.
Definitely slide in. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, he said he doesn't want to fight till maybe next year, but they're always going to say that. I mean, he took a lot of damage in that fight. Both guys did. They went to the hospital, both of them. They didn't do post-fight conference. They both were severely, feeling the after effects of that fight. But that was a fan's fight, so I recommend you going back and watching the full fight.
100%.
Oh my God! Some of those moments in that fight had me real and like, holy shit! How's he still standing?
Yeah, these guys
like how can they just take that much punishment, man? Especially Hooker. I mean, he looked barely recognizable. So I would say that is fight of the year. Well, I mean, we have Weili Zhang and Joanna, so it's hard to say something because we get to the next fight. Oh, this is fight of the year, and we get to the next one. It's this fight of the year, It's so easy to throw those terms out now,
Yeah, 100%.
And then we're probably gonna be saying the same thing after Saturday. I mean, I don't think this card is gonna be boring.
Saturday is gonna be ridiculous, and I can't wait for Saturday. Take it day by day. Thank God for it, Truly thank God for it. It's gonna be a great weekend. And one other thing I want to say is prayers out to Khabib and his entire family for passing of his father. That's one thing I saw was really that was sad. So definitely prayers of Khabib and his family during this time, especially during the passing of his father. So
definitely, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, for sure. We rest in peace.
Yeah.
Mr. Habib, Mr. Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, Abdulmanap. So that's gonna be
Abdulmanap.
Yeah. I'm Russian, so I can kind of pronounce some of the names, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't even gonna try to. I just gonna say Nurmagomedov Senior.
Yeah.
Because
obviously,
and Khabib's such a proud guy, man. He was very proud of his father, and what's sad is that his father could never be at any of his fights that were in America.
Yeah.
Pretty much all his UFC career, and that's also a sad thing. This Fight Island would have been great for Khabib to be a part of. Like, this would have been amazing, but the fact that obviously he has Ramadan. But the fact that his father is going through this right now, was going through this, it wasn't a good time for him to fight.
No.
It wasn't. So, but I felt like this, if everything was better in conditions, it would have been great because his father could have seen him fight. But,
was it due to COVID-19? Because I believe he had COVID.
Yes, he had COVID. I don't know if that's the cause of death, but you know how they're doing this thing where they're labeling it as COVID. So I believe he wasn't in a medically induced coma. I know. But besides that, I don't know the details. I just know he wasn't doing well, and it's sad. And you know what? I love. I have my father. He's like pretty much the only family member in my family, so I appreciate him. I'm sure you do as well. So, to all the fathers, we just had Father's Day, but it's just sad because Habib will be back though. Definitely. And I think, he's going to find inspiration from this and be the champion. He knows he can and go out there and perform and entertain millions of people in the world. Because I think that fighters, at this point, they realize the impact they have on people that really, we're stuck. We don't really have much going on. You know, we need, you know, sports. We need a sign of hope and something to believe in again. You know what I mean? Something outside of the news that's dreary, outside of this virus, you know? And I think the fighters, you know, they I'm not saying they have a responsibility, but they realize they are appreciated for when they are going out there. And we always have to make sure that we you know, we show, you know, that they're appreciated, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, that's sad as well. But I think that's all I had tonight, Matthew. How about you, brother?
Yeah, man, that's all I got going on. So
all right. Well, take it easy, man. Check out Life of a Prize Fighter.
Yes, sir. Check it out. Yeah, check it out on YouTube. Life for a Prize Fighter on YouTube. Always trying to post new stuff. I'll have a Jorge Masvidal video up really soon here, obviously in the next few days. And yeah, I'd definitely like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I hope you have a good day.
You too, man.
Thanks, brother.
Easy,
Stay
man.
blessed, right?
You too. Take care. Bye.